Hey guys, so today we are going to talk about blood vessels. We have three general types of blood vessels: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Arteries are by far the thickest, and we'll talk about them first. There are other types of vessels that we won't talk about, like arterioles or venules, but we'll maybe discuss those if we have time. But today, we will talk about the three main types. So we have arteries, we have veins, and down here we have capillaries. So let's start with arteries. Arteries are by far the thickest of the vessels. If you see, I drew it over here on the left. The walls of the arteries alone are super thick, and they're thick with muscle, smooth muscle. So the reasoning behind that thickness is because arteries take blood away from the heart. So arteries take blood away from heart. So because they take blood away from the heart, that means they're handling a lot of pressure. The heart is beating, and that blood is leaving the heart at very fast speeds and high pressure. So you need a vessel that can handle that type of pressure. So arteries have this thick muscular wall so that they don't burst. Also, by the way, if you hit an artery, because there's so much pressure in arteries, if you cut that, it's a lot worse than if you cut a vein, because in veins there's far less pressure. So arteries take blood away from the heart. Veins take blood back to the heart. So they take blood back to the heart. So that means they're going to be a lot thinner because they don't need to handle that type of pressure. In fact, the blood moving through veins is a lot slower. So if you cut a vein by accident, the blood won't come out as fast, so it's not going to be as big of a deal. You don't want to cut an artery, that's for sure. So veins have blood moving through them at a slower pace, and the thing is, they don't have the type of speed that they have in arteries. They don't have the same propulsion, if that makes sense. So in arteries, the heart is going to beat and release that blood at a very fast speed, high pressure. On top of that, the arteries, kind of like the digestive system and peristalsis, it's going to help squeeze the blood through the arteries. That doesn't happen in the veins. The blood moves through the veins, but it doesn't have the same squeezing that happens in arteries. So we have valves. We have valves in our veins that keep blood from flowing backwards, which we don't want. And the thing that pushes the blood forward in veins are skeletal muscle movements. And skeletal muscle, just general contractions. So me standing up right now is helping the blood, and me moving around is helping the blood that left my heart through the arteries to my body, to my leg. That same blood is being pushed back to my heart with the help of my skeletal muscles on my leg, attached to my leg bones. So that's how veins work. Veins rely on that skeletal muscle contraction in order to get the blood back to the heart. And the last vessel that I want to talk about are capillaries. Capillaries are by far the thinnest. So I'll put thinnest vessels. So how thin is thinnest? Well, you can only fit a single red blood cell, and they're super small, microscopic. You can only fit a single red blood cell through a capillary at a time. So they need to go through capillaries single file. That's how thin we're talking, one cell thick. Now, capillaries have very thin walls. So that means that stuff can diffuse across capillaries into and out of the bloodstream. So let's say we have oxygen. I'll put O2. the oxygen can diffuse right into the bloodstream through a capillary. We wouldn't be able to do that. We wouldn't be able to do that through a vein, and we would not be able to do that through an artery because they have the walls are just too thick. Capillaries, on the other hand, they have super thin walls, so oxygen can enter, CO2 can leave. This would be the case in the lungs, where where blood goes to the lungs to pick up oxygen and drop off carbon dioxide. It would go through capillaries because they're super, super thin in their walls. So they can allow for things like oxygen and carbon dioxide to diffuse in and out of the bloodstream. So that's pretty much it with the main three vessels: arteries, veins, and capillaries. So hopefully this video helped, and if you have any questions, just let me know.